You ever purchase something, whether it be from Amazon, Masterpiece, MP03, Grimlock, that's probably not even the right number, but I don't give a shit. This figure sucks. This thing is absolute noodles to handle, but it doesn't break. What a fucking world. Wait.
You know, it just occurred to me. Maybe instead of buying this rubbish, I could actually review something that was absolutely worth my time.
Oh yeah! I totally can do that now! For those who are unaware, this is the
I need the box.
SH MonsterArts Godzilla vs. Kong Mechagodzilla. And, oh boy, does this figure really prove that he's from SH MonsterArts. For those of you who are basically foreign to the toy review scene, don't mind me, I'm just moving stuff on my desk, you guys probably don't even know what SH MonsterArts is. Well, allow me to give you a brief breakdown. SH MonsterArts is, as far as I know, one of the best toy lines for articulated monsters. And their subdivision, is it a subdivision? I don't know. SH Figuarts has some pretty damn nice humanoid figures. I haven't actually had an SH Figuarts thing in my hands, besides this, but this is MonsterArts. But that festering fingerprint fight! Oh my god! Oh yeah, that thing is still up for pre-order. Links in the description. But that is festering fingerprint fight. What about Mechagodzilla here? I am happy to say that unlike Grimlock, this is probably the best figure I own out of basically everything else that I own. Compared to Transformers, compared to Gundam, compared to Bionicle, yes, even Bionicle, this is probably the best. It's solid, it's very nicely articulated, it has diecast, and come on, who doesn't like diecast? But, this isn't all the footage that I have recorded for Mechagodzilla. This box, God. This is a pretty nice box. If I don't want to say it's smaller than I expected, I guess this is about what I expected for an SH MonsterArts figure. We have this kind of seal of quality. What does that say? Tamashii Nations? Yep, Tamashii Nations, right there. Then we have Bandai, right there, which I should be taking a look at some of their products soon. God fucking damn it, my life is a mess right now. On the side here, yeah, about what I expected. We just get more SH MonsterArts Godzilla Monsterverse stuff. Is that the mini lab? On the other side, we have Mechagoji himself. This isn't Goji. We have Mechagodzilla himself, looking all Mechagodzilla-y. It kind of reminds me of Cyrax or Sector for some reason. I don't know, I guess I just have Mortal Kombat on the mind right now. Jesus Christ, I realize just how much that Cabal figure's gonna pale in comparison to this. On the top, just the same as before. On the bottom, words, things, barcodes, stuff. Though oddly enough, though, I don't see Sad Pac-Man, which is kind of unfortunate. But everything's in Japanese, and you may or may not know me, but I don't read Japanese. On the back of the box, as is standard with most figures, you have your obligatory product shot. I'm turning into Emgo by the second. It looks real nice, all things considered. There he is, duking it out with Godzilla and Kong. Now, that being said, I'm going to be extremely careful as I can be, but we are going to open this box right now. I've seen Jobby the Hong's reviews of, like, SH MonsterArts stuff, so this is going to be a real treat indeed. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Look at that! At this moment in the video, it should be pretty obvious that this figure was basically love at first sight. And editing this footage back, watching it over again, I would kill to, I guess, be back in that moment, unboxing this figure for the first time. because I never had anything quite like this growing up. And now that I have it, it's... I don't know how to put it into words. It's just... It's really fucking awesome. And to the person who gave it to me, you know who you are. This really does mean a lot to me, even if I don't show it a whole lot. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Oh boy. Compared to what I got in the past, like Masterpiece Grimlock, Firo and Skirmix, high-grade Barbados, this is an entirely different feeling. The box, I will admit, is kind of overinflated for the size of the figure. I have no idea what I was trying to mean by this, because the box size, it's perfectly fine for the figure you get. There's a bit of empty space, as you probably saw in the plastic clamshell that this thing was packaged in for some reason, but box to figure ratio, it's fine. They did a pretty good job of trying to package this guy. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say earlier. Is that it? Compared to what you get? Oh my god! I mean, that kind of just comes with the territory, but we'll get to that later. Mechagodzilla is probably the best feeling figure that I have, which is weird to say because I could make Bionicle mocks that feel just as good, but they would have to be a lot more, I guess, parts heavy. This guy, on the other hand, he is solid. He is actually pretty nicely sized. Matter of fact, he's a thermos. Here's the high-grade Barbados that I brought up earlier, which actually looks pretty awesome.
You'll get no sympathy from me.
And for the hell of it, why don't we bring in Studio Series Gnaw, my previous review, where I completely lost all brain function for a little bit. So yeah, you can clearly see that this isn't Studio. SH MonsterArts Mechagodzilla is fairly sized. And along with that size comes with the stupid amount of mechanical detail. This guy is just jam-packed with all sorts of mechanical detail. It is through the roof! You can see it on the tail, you could see it on the inner thigh, you could see it on the arms even. You could see it on the goddamn hands! I love it! The only thing that I probably don't particularly like about Mechagodzilla's look, at least in SH MonsterArts, is the painting. Don't get me wrong, the high amount of silver on this guy is very much appreciated. And the little bits of, I think that's gunmetal, little bits of that as well are also very appreciated. But the only real bits of paint outside of that are on the spines and on the eyes. Yeah, that works a little better. You can see all throughout the spines, which don't move, by the way, there are little bits of red at the top of the spine. And as we move closer to the head, you could see a beautifully painted metallic eye, which looks phenomenal. But outside of that, you're kinda screwed, because there is really no other paint apps besides those little sparse moments of red. It's probably my only real gripe with the figure, because, again, like I showed, this thing is very solid. Aside from the tail, but again, that kind of just comes with the territory. You'll even see it on Bionicle mocks, which have the same tail design. But aside from paint apps and whatnot, all the joints, again, I have to say it again, he's pretty solid. I don't know how to move his hands. Or arms. Is it just... Oh, that is scarily tight. Am I moving the right part of the arm? All the joints hold their position. Even the tail, which is kind of surprising. Because, like I showed with the shake test, it does tend to flop a little bit. But, I mean... In hindsight, I probably should have seen that coming after such a test. In case you're wondering, no, it did not permanently break my figure, thank God. However, it did bring something to light that is actually kind of interesting for me. It seems to be where the organic Godzillas have a basic shell, which is one piece, and then one ball joint, and then another ball joint to make the tail. Mechagodzilla's tail appears to be the same general skeleton, except with two halves that comprise the shell instead of just one solid piece. Obviously, this becomes not as much of a detail the further up the tail you go, and I believe the tip of the tail is just one solid piece, but the further down the tail up to the base you get, the more you're going to notice that it is two halves that are basically covering this skeleton up instead of just one chunk. Think of it kind of like a Gundam, if that makes sense, where you have this part of the shell and then that part of the shell, you put it on top of the skeleton to complete the look. Alright, that's probably gonna be the last time I do this voiceover thing. You shot. This little piece kind of flops annoyingly, but I don't think that's actually part of the, I guess, skeleton of the tail. It's just a piece that's there for, I guess, armor purposes, or armor. I don't know how the fuck this thing works. And really, this guy, I mean, aside from what literally just happened, this guy is very solid. The only real gripes that I have are probably all related to the tail. But tail solidness is not the only thing that this thing has a problem with. The fingers like to pop off, but that is very much intentional. You have 4 of these pieces, 4 of these pieces, and 2 different sets of what I'll call palms. And each of these palms can take whatever fingers you want. Oh man, playing Elden Ring does not help anything with saying that sentence. What I'd like to do so that it doesn't get too annoying is I just take the fingers off and then take the palm off. Then I can put the fingers back on the side, so it's really like nothing happened. And then you can place on your hand of choice. Which, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that the hands don't actually articulate, but it does open up a little bit of customization for an otherwise static object, which this guy, I mean, obviously, you're not gonna really play with this guy like a toddler, are you? This thing is surprisingly articulated. And why I say surprisingly is because I've made Bionicle mocks that have just about as much posability on this thing, but this guy somehow manages to outdo even that. But before we get to that, this review is very unstructured, I'm sorry. I'm bringing in a Lego part separator to show you a little thing you can do on the shoulders. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey! You can barely see much of a difference, but that actually looks pretty damn cool. And like I tried showing on this side, it is also here. Come on. There we go. You can barely notice much of a difference, but oh well. It's a gimmick. It's there if you want to use it. What's even less noticeable, though, is right here on his die-cast belly, which, by the way, the amount of die-cast on this thing was a lot more than I was expecting. This thing is cold to the touch. That's right, I'm siding with Jobby the Hong on this one. Take that, Shardabus.
Flawless.
But the belly system is a bit of a complicated situation because there are 3 segments on the belly, and you can't just go all willy-nilly with it. What you have to do is you have to start from the bottom, flip that out, and then you can work your way up. And yeah, you could barely see it, but it does look pretty neat. And then to fold these back up, instead of going down to up like you did before, you're an iguana, sure. What you're gonna want to do is go top to bottom. This ensures that if you're like this, then all you really do is move one piece. Or if you have it like this, you do the same thing and you only move that top piece. It basically locks everything in place is what I'm trying to get at, which I actually appreciate. And I mean, that's all I really have to talk about outside of accessories, which the hands are really all he comes with. So let's rip off Jobby the Hung again and what the hell's going on and why? I've already ripped off enough YouTubers, so I figured I'd do something unique for a change. That being said, I might as well take one of these for the road. There's a ball joint at the base of the head and the base of the neck, and there's also a swivel somewhere in between that might also just be the ball joint. Despite that, it's not the best range looking up, but looking down is actually pretty good. The mouth can, of course, open an absurd amount, which, you know, is always good for a mechanical lizard. The arms do have a hinge joint at the shoulder, a hinge joint at the shoulder pauldron thing. The arm can, of course, rotate right here. The arm can move out like so. You do get a bicep swivel. You do get a bend at the elbow, which goes up to a little under 90 degrees. So if you bend it inward, you can get a little more range out of it. And then, of course, you get a ball joint at the wrist. Despite that being the most agile thing, it's pretty much the standard for articulated figures. There's nothing at the waist, unfortunately. However, this will give me an excuse to point out that all of this is die-cast metal. Matter of fact, while we're at it, these pistons back here are also die-cast metal. The hinge right here is die-cast metal. The feet, and I'm pretty sure there's more die-cast metal throughout the figure. You'll just have to feel your way through. There's a hinge joint at the leg, which only goes back about that far. It goes forward about that far. Outward is... it could be a lot better. There's no knee swivel or thigh swivel or anything like that. However, you do get a bend at the knee, which again could be better. They do get a look at some parts that move while you do that. The ankle guards do move up to accommodate for the foot to move up and down, and you do get a decent pivot, which does actually go both ways. And the feet are large enough so that Godzilla Mecha Lizard thing can stand on one foot, so it passes that arbitrary test that I just made up for the video. And then it would kind of be redundant to point out literally everything on the tail, so I'll just show this animation that I've been showing for basically the rest of the articulation so you can get a grasp of it. That sentence makes sense, right? I bloody hope it did. Greetings! This is, bar none, probably the best figure that I have in my collection so far. I'm gonna do a full-on Jobby the Hong thing, small, medium, large. This guy will basically be my SH MonsterArts Godzilla. I mean, he's technically already an SH MonsterArts Godzilla, but you get it. This guy is just cool. He is amazing, and fucking, I don't know what else to say. It's kind of like the Cabal review, but instead of being speechless because the figure is bad, I'm speechless because this figure is just so damn good. He's not the best SH MonsterArts figure. Jobby made that point in his review of the figure, but especially as someone who didn't have an SH MonsterArts figure growing up, or ever until this point, this is a very welcome change. By the way, I mentioned that this was a gift, technically a late birthday gift, but I'm not mad because, I mean, this is just so fucking cool. I'm not gonna say who gifted me this, but if you want to make yourself known, there is the comment section below. Speaking of you, actually. Alright, so I've got everything set up, the microphone, the Mechagodzilla. This isn't Goji.
Oh, never change, old friend, never change.
I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but one of the things I was expecting was a heartfelt letter, because that's something I would definitely send him if the roles were reversed in this context. Like, I'd be like, yo, man, you really helped me out of, like, very tough spots these past few years. I can't thank you enough. But no, that is not what this Chad that sent me an SH Figure Arts Godzilla did. He in fact sent me this. Where's my damn money? Oh, never change. Please, never change. I suppose now that I have gotten a little bit of serotonin from reviewing the Mechagodzilla, it's time to rip off the band-aid and just review this piece of shit. I'm very sorry for the wait, but I think we are a little more prepared.